Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we come together to honour and celebrate the life of Debra Ann Frank. Just as a reminder, if you have your mobile phone with you, I ask that it's switched off or turn to a silent setting for the duration of today's service. Thank you.
Welcome, and on behalf of the family, I welcome you as well to this service of remembrance for Debra Ann Frank, or Deb as she preferred. While I did not know Debra myself, I have come to understand what a significant presence she was in the lives of all those gathered here, either in person or those via the live stream. Your presence in whatever form means so much to the family. My name is Angela Newbound, and I am very honoured to be here to lead this service for Deb today. And for you, by coming together, it is a time for family. It is a time for friends, a time to share tears, a time to share memories, and a time to reflect on Deb's strength and resilience and the joy that she brought you over her life of 64 years. It was a real honour meeting with Deb's husband Paul and her son Aaron, and wonderful partner, Hayley, last week, and hearing more about Deb's happy, bubbly personality and how her infectious smile could light up a room. They tell me how deeply she appreciated the beauty in the world around her, and how her connection with animals, especially cats and dogs, was something truly special. Although she would actually often say that she preferred animals to people, nothing came close to the love that she had for her family. They were her everything. She loved them and was proud of them, and she deeply loved and valued her many friends. They shared that Deb was the only child of her parents, Anne and Derek, who are now both at rest. And there is a quiet significance in gathering here in the Heritage Chapel today. It's the same place where she lovingly farewelled her parents, Derek in 2011 and Anne in 2014. I hear that when they arrived in Australia in 1964, they established themselves in Modbury. But Deb's proudest moment was when Aaron, her only child, arrived in 1987. She welcomed the support her parents provided as she raised him, and she carried great pride in the man that he has become. A really true reflection of the love and guidance that they all poured into him. Throughout her working life, mostly as a service administrator, Deb made many friends. She cherished the long-standing friendships that she developed with colleagues from the state government department and with the many people that she worked alongside during her years at Select Copiers. However, there was so much more to Deb, and we have several speakers today who will share memories and more about Deb and her life, and I have the honour to call Aaron forward to share his heartfelt tribute. Thank you, Aaron.
Wow, so many people. I'm thrilled. Thank you for all coming here today. Thank you, Angela, and thank you, Rebecca, as well. I didn't think we'd be here so soon celebrating Deb's life. The last 2 weeks have again enforced how precious life is and how quickly it can be taken away. Please, everyone here today, next time you can, hug your loved ones extra tight, for yourself, for them, and for Deb. Our families and our friendships are all that we have in this world. Deb brought me into this world 38 years ago. Time flies. I'm so lucky to have had the best mum I could have ever asked for. Life wasn't easy for Deb. Becoming a single mother with a child aged 3, having to build a new life from very little. It's something I will be forever proud of her for achieving. She sacrificed so much throughout the years as she strived to provide me with the best life possible. She always tried her best to ensure that I didn't miss out on experiences or toys. Most importantly, she kept a roof over our heads and food on the table. She was the best mum I could have ever asked for. From about 8 years old, I took up cricket and footy. Most weekends from then on, every Saturday and sometimes Sunday, I would need to be random places around Adelaide. She never complained. She was always there for me. Deb was such a selfless individual. She was the best mum I could have ever asked for. As an adult, she was always there as a sounding board for me. The advice she's given me has been invaluable. I live by it now, and I'll live by it into the future. And she was always there when I needed her. She was the best mum I could have ever asked for. Deb, as we're all well aware, had some endearing quirks. Easily top of this list was her irrational love of the Essendon Football Club. Lately, it's become more irrational by the week. It's a love that started in her mid-30s. It's the reason for her one and only tattoo, an Essendon logo above her ankle. She did get to see the 2000 premiership. Times were good back then. Since then, she's experienced many lean years. And for those not keeping track, today is the 7,875th day since Essendon last won a final. They say adversity builds character. Boy, did Deb have a lot of character. But through it all, they were her team. And no one shall besmirch them. And I'm not sure where Nigel is, but I'm looking at you. There's one small silver lining to Essendon this year. Round 1 saw us take on Hawthorn at the MCG, a Friday night game. A few times a year, we'd drive over on the day of the game, see the game, and drive back overnight. We're a little crazy. She said many times she loved these road trips. Round 1 this year, we took our first chance and went over. This meant 26 hours straight with each other. We talked about all sorts of things: Essendon, life, holidays, animals, friends. It was great. I'll always treasure that I had that one last road trip with her. Less than 26 hours after getting back, she was gone. Deb treasured her relationships with friends and family. She treated friends like family and family like friends. They were one and the same to her. Immigrating to Adelaide at the age of 3 with Anne and Derek, who I hope are with her today, proudly looking down on us right now. To growing up with Marty, Chris and Steve, and later on, Sarah and John. Having the loving support, Margaret, Sylvia and Sheila. To meeting Julia in high school. To working in the state government and meeting Fran and Inka. To working with Marty, Shane, Nigel, Mark, Rhonda, Karen, Ian and so many others at Select Copiers. To new family, Hayley, Sue, Mick, Tara, and the countless other friends she made along the way. You all meant so much to her. I don't think you'll know how much she treasured your relationships. She thought about you and she loved you all. Her love for animals was stronger than many of us will ever experience. I really hope there's something beyond this world and she's been able to meet up with them again. I hope she's up there with Billy, Bowie, Pierre 1 and 2, Whiskey, Sheedy, Ruby and Rushy. Looking down at us with a big smile that her 4-legged children are getting a mention. And Paul, I have a warning for you. You'd better walk her children left behind, Kimmy, Lee and Nikki, every day and on schedule, or she may unleash her wrath from beyond. And staying with Paul, what can I say? You meant the world to Deb. You are everything Deb deserved. A devoted husband who loved her back just as much. The only downside is that you didn't arrive a decade or two earlier. You're a great man, and I'm glad Deb was able to spend the last 15-ish years with you. On behalf of her, thank you for everything, and please know that she will love you forever. But your time here is far from over. Please mourn her. Please remember her. But most importantly, please remember to do her proud as you go on. Thank you, Paul. To everyone here, I once again thank you for attending. There are many faces here that I haven't seen for years, and some I've honestly never seen, but it's great. Words cannot describe how thankful I am that you're all here today. Deborah's meant so much to so many of us. Please don't hesitate to come up to me afterwards, either here or at Mowbray Hotel. Introduce yourself and let's talk about Deb. And a special thank you to Jamie, Fran and Marty, who will also be speaking today. It's not easy up here. I'm forever grateful that you're willing to share what Deb meant to you. And thank you, Deb. I could go on for days, weeks, years talking about you, and I will, just not here. You are the best mum I could have ever asked for. You will always be with me. I hope to do you proud. I miss you, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. What a beautiful tribute. Very, very, very lovely tribute. Next, I call Jamie, a close friend of Paul's, to step forward and read a tribute from Paul and share some of his own words. Thank you.
Hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jamie. I'm not the greatest at public speaking, but I'll do my best to honour Debbie and Paul today. I'm sure Debbie would feel very honoured to see you all here today in her beloved Essendon colours. I've been a good friend of Paul's for over 30 years and Deb's for nearly 20. I was also fortunate enough to be best man at their wedding. Some say they must have been scraping the bottom of the barrel that day for somebody to do the job. Before I speak on Paul's behalf today, I'm going to share a story of when Paul and Deb first met. A company that Deb and I were working for at the time had an end of financial year work show at the Hackney Hotel. Paul had rung me, as was the norm, on a Friday night for a beer and a catch-up. I told him to meet me at the Hackney. On his arrival, he spotted Deb and decided that she looked like a bit of a ride. Asked me if she was single. They started chatting like there was nobody else in the room, and to my eye, something very special was happening. The following Monday, I arrived at work, as was customary for me at the time, a little bit late and hungover. As soon as I walked in, Deb said, "I need to speak to you right now." She collared me, took me to the lunchroom, closed the door and asked, "What sort of guy is Paul?" I said Paul was hardworking, honest, reliable, kind, a bit of a romantic, and generous to a fault. Deb paused for a brief moment. She then gave me a steely gaze with her blue eyes and said, "So he's nothing like you then? That's good enough for me." As we know, their relationship grew over time and they fell very much in love. I will now speak on Paul's behalf. Deb, my sweetheart, my love, I still can't believe you have left us so soon and so quickly. Many tried to save you, but it was your time. To the professionals in the ambulance service, to the doctors and nurses at the Lowell McEwen, thank you for your efforts and your compassion. Our Deb was a kind and loyal person who, once you earned her trust, you had it for life. Deb always said she preferred the company of animals to people as they love unconditionally. But having said that, she was lucky to find and hold many friends in her life, some of them dating back to her mid-teens and early 20s, and who are here with us today. Deb loved her only son, Aaron, who truly was the apple of her eye, and always enjoyed her trips to Melbourne to watch her beloved Essendon football team play. It didn't matter whether they won or lost the game. The trip and the time spent with Aaron were her favourite memories. Deb and I were married for 10 and a half years. We had many plans for our future together. The renovations on our home that Deb was so excited about, unfortunately, she will never see. I will finish them as we had planned. Like all couples, we occasionally disagreed, and for the stupidest of reasons. I would give anything for the chance to disagree again, rather than the silence I have now. I will take care of our dogs Kimmy, Lee, Nikki and Bella, our cat, to the best of my ability. People will say Deb is in a better place now, but I don't think she was in a bad place here with me. I know that wherever Deb is, that she is at peace and will manage to find Derek, Anne and Billy on the other side, as she always dreamed. It's time to say goodbye now, even though I don't want to. You were my day. You were my night. You were my morning. You were my afternoon. I can't believe you've gone so soon. You were my sunlight. You were my rain. My life will never be the same. I will love you forever and never, ever forget you. Until we meet again, my love, your husband, Paul.
Thank you, Jamie, for your tribute, and certainly what a beautiful tribute from Paul. Our next tribute is from Fran, who shared a long-term friendship with Deb. So please come forward, Fran.
Aaron, just like you said, I never, ever expected to be standing up here under these circumstances, ever. So I'm sure we all are feeling the same way while we're sitting in this auditorium today. Aaron, what an amazing mum she was to you. She absolutely adored you and was so proud of the person you had become. This has been widely said on so many occasions. You could do no wrong. I was part of her journey as she raised you, which can only be described as a testament to her strength, her love, and the unwavering devotion she poured into every moment of your life. I can't imagine the loss she must be feeling. Paul? I'm at a loss to even begin to understand how you must be feeling. But I do know that when you came into her life, I saw her happiness grow in a way that was unmistakable, as the life she built with you became one of love. You were a match made in heaven. She idolised you, and forever making her laugh with all the stupid antics and all the things you used to do. She would just laugh, and in the end she didn't even know what she was laughing about. And then we were all laughing. And then no one knew what we were laughing about. I saw and was part of the journey of the life you crafted together. I never ever had to worry about her, as I knew you were always there for her and to take care of her as she was for you. You had the most amazing person you no doubt was proud to call your wife. On a personal level, I'll share some special moments of our life over the last 45 years. We met in 1980 when we started working together at a government department. Our friendship grew from that moment. I'm not sure what it was, but over time we just formed this very special bond. A bit hard to describe when we just connected on so many levels. Our little group of Inca, Julia, Deb, I used to call her Little Deb, or we all used to call her Little Deb, and I often caught up and go out as a group of friends. While we all branched off and crafted our own lives over those 45 years, we never lost touch and just reconnected constantly. We shared many milestones over those years with our kids, ourselves, lots of different things, which we always connected on those special moments. In 2015, I was lucky enough to be one of 3 bridesmaids to her wedding to Paul, and that was a huge honour. Little Deb was part of my broader family. My mum and dad treated Deb like a daughter. She always had a presence in our family's life, and she made it her mission to ensure she saw my mum in her last days. Nothing was going to stop her. That meant so much to me. I guess this is a testament to her selflessness, her caring nature. Just nothing was ever too much trouble for Deb. Over the years, there are countless memories and photos of our time together through the highs and the lows of life. We supported each other through these times, and there were many of them. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being such a wonderful friend and for all the laughs we have had along the way. Deb, I look to you now and say it's been an honour to be your friend for 45 years, and that moving forward from this day, life is going to be quite difficult, knowing you're not here. It just doesn't make sense. It will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Fran, for sharing those memories of such a beautiful and long friendship. Marty, Deb's cousin's our final speaker, and I invite him forward to share some of his memories.
For those who don't know me, my name's Marty Meredith. I'm Debbie's cousin and former employee for a good part of Debbie's working life. I've been asked by both Aaron and Paul to share a few sentiments and stories. It's been an interesting and thought-provoking week trying to put down some words. My challenge in these situations, where someone close passes away and I try to reflect on memories and stories of who's who and what they got up to, I'd normally turn to Debbie. You can probably see the irony. As you can imagine, this throws an interesting spin. I try to imagine talking to Debbie and keep on getting a resounding response, not to make a fuss. I believe that everyone that was close to Debbie would agree. I'll keep this as short as possible and try not to make too much of a fuss. You've already heard both Aaron and Paul's thoughts and feelings. It is a very difficult time and situation with so many conflicting emotions. I'm sure Debbie appreciates everything you've done and been in her life, and I'm sure she'll thank you deeply and miss you dearly. Debbie was born in Bradford, Yorkshire, England, 1961, and Debbie was an only child to Derek and Heath, who Debbie is now rejoining in passing. In 1964, Derek, Anne and their 3-year-old baby girl, Debbie, flew to Australia to embark on their new life. On arriving in Adelaide, they were greeted by my mother, Margaret, whom often referred to as Mim, and my father, Peter, my brothers, Chris, Stephen, whom all previously arrived by ship, and I believe they were classified as the 10-pound Poms. Shortly after arriving in Adelaide, Derek and Anne and Debbie settled into their new home at Adelaide Avenue, Modbury. They would there build their new life together, where Derek worked at Russell Advertising as a signwriter, and Anne would turn her hand to whatever she could, even pumping petrol as a petrol attendant, where you'd pull into a petrol station and the attendant would fill up your car. Very hard to imagine these days. We would get our family get-togethers at either Adelaide Avenue, Modbury, or at our house at Robert Court, Para Hills. These were simple times. Gatherings were mainly cricket and soccer, games in the backyard. Debbie didn't really participate, was around helping with the adults. Good thing about Derek and Anne's house is that all the utilities were at the perfect height for a child. It was only as I got older that I noticed that the basins, etc., had all been set at the height for Derek, Anne and Debbie. I'm sure it would have been an interesting sale when the new owners moved in and realised. My earliest recollections of Debbie in the 1970s, when I was around 7 and Debbie was around 11. I remember Debbie being rebellious in nature, wearing tartan dresses and scars, and her favourite band at the time was the Bay City Rollers. She loved Woody, Stuart Wood, the lead guitarist and singer. My mum reminds me that Debbie used to go to bed at night time and wait for her mum and dad to go to sleep. She'd then slip out the bedroom window, meet up with Kate Wildsmith, visit the boys, return home before her parents awoke. In 1976, shortly after the passing of my father, we embarked on a 6-week world tour. There was my mum, Margaret, my brother Chris, the headmistress of my primary school, Marjorie, her daughter Kate, and Debbie. We travelled the final voyage of the condemned Russian passenger ship called the Khabarovsk from Perth to Singapore, and then flew British Caledonia to London. They don't exist anymore. We travelled through most of Europe and the United Kingdom via tour bus. These were fun times. Debbie, Chris and Kate were all 14 and they all got on famously and mischievously together. Once again, this is where I turned to Debbie and asked what they got up to for the stories. The irony. Debbie attended Kildare College, where she learnt how to be a skilled typist, and if you were slow, the nuns would rap you across your knuckles with a ruler. Try and get away with that these days. I remember Debbie hating her time there and moved to Para Vista High School, I think. The following years, we all went on our own directions. We reconnected in 1991, where Debbie had left work with the government, and Shane Curtis and myself were looking to replace our receptionist. We started a business in 1987 called Photocopy Advice Consultants and Better Secondhand Goods, which evolved into Select Copiers and then finally became Office Select. Debbie started work as a receptionist, but it's always multitasking as a small business demands. Cleaning seems to be a priority with most of my family, and Debbie was great at turning her hand to cleaning copiers, which she completed with pride. Debbie's side hustle, whilst working at Select Copiers, was cleaning houses, I believe with her mum. These would have been long and challenging days, but Debbie didn't complain and just put her head down and got on with things. Debbie would not shy away from challenges. Surprisingly, one day while Shane and myself were at lunch and uncontactable with only a tone pager for communication, Debbie found herself in a situation where a customer, Lebanese Women's Association, had come into the showroom and wanted to buy a copier. Debbie put her sales hat on and successfully sold a brand new Celex/Canon copy for $7,500 cash. This was a huge sale at that time. We were completely stunned and both would have struggled to get the same outcome that Debbie achieved. It was a good day. I was always amazed how Debbie could remember customers' husbands, wives' names, along with their children's names, what schools they went to, when they went to the doctor last, pets' names, pet injuries, where they lived, social circles, it just went on and on. But this was an amazing quality to have. Such genuine interest in people, and to remember all things that were minor to most, but important to Deb. I would have said this would be Debbie's most admirable quality. Debbie knew our customers back to front, and she made them feel important and remembered. On the other hand, we had telemarketers avoiding ringing select copiers as they couldn't get Debbie off the phone. Shane's friends would call and Debbie would talk to them longer than they would talk to Shane. We all knew Debbie had the gift of the gab and could talk underwater. When Shane was out one day, Debbie and Hayden grabbed gar bags of hole punch clippings and filled up Shane's car so full he couldn't see the seats. She was a bit of a joker at times. Debbie would go to the bank or get lunches, which would take about 10 minutes. She would return an hour later, and we never knew what she got up to. Debbie would also sometimes drive to the shops, walk back to work, and then wonder where her car was. One time she rang into work saying she couldn't make it in because she couldn't find her keys. Rhonda drove out to Debbie's house, only to find Debbie's keys packed away with the dog leads. I know Debbie wouldn't mind me sharing these stories because she had the wonderful ability to laugh at these situations. She had the humility and the ability to laugh at herself. Back in the day when people paid in cash, Debbie once took everyone's pay home and didn't realise until much later. That would have been a good day. Debbie had an infectious laughter that once she got going, everyone would join in, but no one would have any idea what they were laughing at. Part of Debbie's job was to take service calls on issues with the customers' printers. If she was asked a question about the call she took the other day, her standard response would be, "I don't know, I've slept since then." But at the same time, she could remember the most minor details from an event or that was years before or even decades. Debbie would always make sure that she would say goodbye to everyone before leaving, even going into the workshop to make sure she hadn't missed anyone. Debbie was born into an era of old school values which she carried all through her life. When you talk to people who know and share some part of Debbie's life, there's a resounding agreement that Debbie was a gentle person, a loving demeanour, would help anyone she could, would go out of her way for any animal, even strays. She had her own way to light up a room with a cheeky smile. She was loved by many and will be missed.
Another wonderful tribute about an amazing woman, so thank you very much, Marty. When we lose a person close to us, we look to photographs to help us remember. These photos are the ones that will put smiles on faces and helped the loved ones cope with the reality that a much loved person is no longer nearby. It reminds us to stop, to be present, and to celebrate the relationships that we often take for granted. While we watch this compilation of photographs, please pause and just relive some of your own precious memories of the relationship that you enjoyed with Deb.
till the passion starts to rise. I wanna take you to heaven, that would make my day complete. But you and me ain't no movie star. What we are is what we are. We share a bed, some loving, and TV, yeah. That's enough for a working man. But what I am is what I am. And I tell you, babe, well, that's enough for me. Sometimes when you're asleep and I'm just staring at the ceiling, I wanna reach out and touch it, but you just go on dreaming. If I could take you to heaven, that would make my day complete. You and me ain't no movie star. What we are change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mold. I am here in my mold, but I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can't change my mold. No, 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 no. Have you ever been down? Well, I've never prayed, but tonight I'm on my knees, yeah. I need to hear some sounds that recognize the pain in me, yeah. I let the melody shine, let it cleanse my mind. I feel free now. But the airwaves are clean and there's nobody singing to me now. No change, I can change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mold. I am here in my mold, and I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can't change my mold. No, 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 no. Have you ever been? I can change it. No, I can change it. 'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's life. Trying to make ends meet, trying to find someone and then you die. I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down. You know, the one that takes you to the places where all the things meet, yeah. You know I can change, I can change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mold. I am here in my mold, and I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my mold. No, 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 no. I can change my mold. No, 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 no. I can change my mold. No, 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 no. Yes, I tell you, change my environment. Melody and silence. I tell you, can't change my violence. Melody and violence. I tell you, can't change my violence.
What a beautiful collection of photographs and some lovely memories there for you all, I'm sure. Paul and Aaron have asked me to publicly thank the Good Samaritan nurse who was the first responder, the South Australian Ambulance Service paramedics, the MedStar team, and the wonderful doctors and nurses at the Lyell McEwen Hospital Emergency Department and Intensive Care Department for their professionalism, expertise, and compassion when they attended to Deb. Knowing Deb was in such capable and caring hands was of great comfort to them. It is our hope that every part of this service has honoured Deb, her life and the legacies that she leaves behind. So if you are now able, please stand for the Lord's Prayer and to farewell Deb with appreciation and love. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Deb, although there is unimaginable grief today as your family and friends say goodbye, there is immense gratitude for your life. You were loved with a love beyond telling and will be missed with a grief beyond all tears. But your spirit will live on in their memories, in their stories, and in the love that you so generously shared with them. Your presence will be felt in the sunshine because you brought so much sunshine and joy to others. So know that your legacy of love, strength, and inspiration will continue to guide them for the rest of their days. Thank you for all you were and for all you gave. Rest now in the hearts and minds of all those who love you. You will be forever remembered. Please be seated. Deb has been a wonderful gift of life to this world, and her family thank her for teaching them resilience and strength, for being a positive role model, and for shaping them to be the people they are today. May the peace that comes from memories of love shared comfort you all now and in the days ahead. On behalf of Paul and Aaron, thank you for honouring Deb by wearing the Essendon colours today. Deb would have been delighted. As we've heard, the Bombers were a big part of her life, and that she was a devoted supporter who loved every chance to watch them play. And seeing so many of you wearing black and red in some way is heartwarming, and Paul and Aaron could not think of a more fitting way to close Deb's service than for me to say Deb's favourite 2 words. Go Bombers! I now ask Rebecca to please step forward and close the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Friends, on behalf of Deb's family, I'd like to express their heartfelt thanks for the love, care and support that you've extended to them throughout this time. Your presence here today means so much and is deeply appreciated. In a few moments, I'll invite Deb's family to come forward and place a rosemary tribute with her. Ladies and gentlemen, you're invited to follow after the family and place a tribute of your own in a final personal gesture of farewell. Please make your way up our centre aisle and retire to our lounge via the aisle to your left. Deb's family warmly invites you to join them in our lounge for some light refreshments. In the foyer just outside our lounge, you'll find Deb's flowers. Her family invite you to take a stem from the bouquet and keep it in remembrance of Deb. And again, at the conclusion of today's lounge, Deb's family warmly invite you to join them for a wake at the Mowbray Hotel, where you can share more happy memories of Deb's life. Once again, thank you for your attendance here today. For those of you who are able, would you please be upstanding while the family come forward?